Have you ever wondered why we still speak the names of gods who died thousands of years ago? We think of Mount Olympus as a place of marble and light, but the truth? The truth is born from blood, betrayal, and a war that nearly tore the universe apart. From the silent void of chaos to the terrifying hunger of Cronus, the rise of the Greek gods wasn't a fairy tale, it was a survival story. Today, we are going deep into the shadows of ancient Greece to uncover the real story of the Olympians. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll realize that the gods never actually left us. They just moved into our dreams. Chapter 1: The Void and the Titans. Before there was light, before there was a world to stand upon, there was only the chaos. Not a mess, but a yawning, silent void. From this nothingness, the foundations of reality began to crystallize. Gaia, the earth; Uranus, the sky. But the story of the Greek gods doesn't begin with a peaceful creation. It begins with a bloodbath. Uranus was a cruel father, hiding his children away in the dark depths of the earth. It was his son, the Titan Cronus, who rose up with a sickle of jagged flint. In an act of primal rebellion, Cronus overthrew his father, but in doing so, he planted the seeds of his own paranoia. He became obsessed with a single prophecy, that he, too, would be overthrown by his own child. To prevent this, Cronus did the unthinkable. As each of his children was born, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon, he swallowed them whole. But Rhea, his wife, could not bear the loss of her last child. When Zeus was born, she handed Cronus a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes. He swallowed the rock, believing it was the infant. Meanwhile, hidden in a cave on the island of Crete, the true king was growing. Zeus was raised on the milk of a goat and the clashing shields of warriors to hide his cries. This is where the era of the Olympians truly begins. Not in a palace, but in a secret, shadowed rebellion. Chapter 2: The War for Reality. The war between the Titans and the Olympians, the Titanomachy, was a conflict that shook the very pillars of the universe. It lasted 10 years. Imagine mountains being ripped from the earth and hurled into the sea. Imagine the sky turning black with the smoke of celestial thunder. Zeus eventually freed his swallowed siblings by tricking Cronus into drinking a poisoned draught. One by one, the gods emerged from their father's gullet, fully grown and hungry for vengeance. They were joined by the Cyclopes, who forged the weapons that would define the ages: the trident for Poseidon, the helm of darkness for Hades, and the master bolt for Zeus. When the dust settled, the Titans were cast into the pits of Tartarus, a prison so deep that a bronze anvil dropped from the sky would take 9 days to reach the bottom. The world was split into 3. Poseidon took the churning oceans, Hades took the silent, sunless underworld, and Zeus? Zeus took the sky, seating himself upon the peak of Mount Olympus. But as we will see, the throne was never stable. Chapter 3: The King of Storms. To understand Zeus is to understand the nature of power itself. He is often depicted as a wise judge, but the myths tell a darker story. Zeus was a god of appetite. He was the thunderbolt, unpredictable, destructive, and impossible to ignore. His reign was defined by his endless pursuit of both mortals and immortals, a trait that created a web of demigods and heroes that populated the Greek landscape. But his power was constantly challenged by his wife, Hera. She was not just the goddess of marriage, she was the queen of strategy. Their relationship was a cosmic battlefield. For every hero Zeus fathered, Hera placed an obstacle in their path. Think of Heracles, the greatest hero of all time. His entire life of labor and suffering was fueled by Hera's divine jealousy. This tells us something vital about the Greek mindset. Even the king of the gods was subject to the chaos of his own household. The gods were not perfect beings, they were humans, magnified to a terrifying scale. Chapter 4: the brothers of the deep and the dark. While Zeus ruled the light, his brothers ruled the extremes. Poseidon, the earth shaker. He was the most temperamental of the 12. To the Greeks, the sea was not a place of peace. It was a hungry, violent force. When Poseidon was angry, the earth cracked and the waves rose to swallow cities. He represents the raw, unbridled emotion of the natural world. A god who could create the beauty of a horse from the foam of the sea, yet drown a fleet in a moment of spite. Then, there is Hades, perhaps the most misunderstood figure in all of mythology. Hades was not the Greek devil. He was a cold, just, and incredibly wealthy administrator. He didn't want more souls, he simply wanted the ones he had to stay put. His realm was a reflection of the Greek view of the afterlife, a gray, misty existence where memories faded like smoke. The story of his theft of Persephone is the foundation of the seasons. It is a story of grief, negotiation, and the balance between the blooming life of the earth and the inevitable silence of the grave. Chapter 5. The Divine Architects. Descending from the primary trio, we find the gods who shaped human civilization. Athena, born fully armored from the forehead of Zeus. She was the goddess of Metis, cunning intelligence. Unlike Ares, the god of bloodlust, Athena represented the strategy of war. She was the loom, the olive branch, and the city walls. She was the embodiment of the Greek ideal, that logic and craft could overcome brute force. Contrast her with Apollo and Dionysus, the two halves of the human soul. Apollo was the god of light, music, and prophecy. He represented order, the sun, and the mathematical perfection of the lyre. But where Apollo was order, Dionysus was madness. He was the god of wine, theater, and the loss of self. The Greeks believed you needed both. You needed the logic of Apollo to build a city, but you needed the ecstasy of Dionysus to remember why it was worth living in one. Chapter 6. The Fallibility of Immortals. What makes Greek mythology transformative compared to other religions is that these gods were fundamentally flawed. They were petty, they were vain, they were capable of immense cruelty. Think of Arachne, the weaver who was turned into a spider simply for being better than Athena. Or Prometheus, who was chained to a rock and had his liver torn out every day just for giving humanity the gift of fire. The Greeks didn't worship their gods because the gods were good. They worshipped them because the gods were powerful. To a Greek citizen, the gods were like the weather. You couldn't change them. You could only hope to survive them. This created a culture of extreme resilience. If the gods were going to be chaotic, then humans had to be heroic. This is where we get the concept of hubris, the fatal pride of thinking you are equal to a god. It is the theme that ties every Greek tragedy together. Chapter 7. The End of the Mythic Age. As we look back from the modern world, we have to ask, why do these stories still breathe? Why do we see the names of the gods on our rockets, our businesses, and our stars? It's because the Greek gods represent the permanent archetypes of the human experience. Zeus is the burden of leadership. Hera is the complexity of loyalty. Aphrodite is the dangerous pull of desire. Hermes is the quick-witted trickster who lives in every salesman and traveler. We didn't stop believing in the Greek gods because we realized they weren't real. We stopped believing in them as literal beings and started recognizing them as the internal forces that drive us. The mythic age may have ended, and the fires on the altars of Olympus may have gone cold. But the gods didn't die. They just moved. They moved into our literature, our psychology, and our dreams. When you feel a sudden spark of inspiration, that's the shadow of Athena. When you feel an irrational rage, that's the echo of Ares. We are still living in their world. We just changed the names of the shadows. Greek mythology spans a vast and incredible horizon. If you want deep, detailed, and expansive videos about each individual god, please let us know in the comments below. Tell us which deity you want to see next. We will see you in the next chapter.
If you think good my videos, please like, share, comment, follow, and subscribe.